Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to Kingdom Hearts 2. Today we're finally going to conclude the Beauty and the Beast saga, or at least so we assume. But yeah, anyway, let's get these household appliances far away from this dingy little dungeon and find out that they actually have the power to move the castle around. Not in any mystical way, it's really just more of a plot progression thing as we move on to the Pish mission, as I mentioned last time. Really thought I had something more to say here, but in any case, something I should probably also mention is that depending on what Keyblade you have equipped, certain things, like what you could briefly see there, the Kingdom Key giving you damage control, which halves the amount of damage taken at critical moments. Yeah, each Keyblade has like a certain passive ability that, you know, gives you a little buff here and there. Again, a lot of it depends, like, to use an example of a future Keyblade, we'll get the Gullwing's Keyblade acts as an experience boost, you know, stuff like that. So again, it does give you a greater degree in which, you know, to use the Keyblades rather than just strength and magic buffs, but again, it's completely nebulous and you can pretty much play with your favorite Keyblade and just go about your business, really. But again, much in the same vein as Kingdom Hearts 1, I am going to be showing off different Keyblades during, like, cleanup videos and, you know, sort of exploring around. So again, like, you will get to see these Keyblades in action, it's just that, again, for cutscene and story purposes, I'm mainly sticking with the Kingdom Key and Donald and Goofy's default equipment because, well, I'm a stickler for canon for some bizarre occupational health and safety disorder reason. But anyway, now we have to go through a secret passage. Which basically leads us to our next Pish minigame. For some bizarre reason, in order to unlock the way out of here, we have to light some torches, and it involves, well again as they're explaining here, it basically involves Cogsworth to lower them down, then you're getting like the teapot to like fucking extinguish the darkness flames that are surrounding them. I don't know. Again, the reason why I consider these Pish missions, as you're soon going to see, is that again, it's basically little challenges within the level. I can't remember if you, like, enter, like, a game over or failure state for this, but again, admittedly, I did have a bit of trouble on my first playthrough. I have no idea why, because, I mean, it's so easy to do nowadays, but I don't know, basically, again, Cogsworth, for some bizarre reason, gets tired. I think I might have alluded to this in the last part, but yes, the inanimate object gets tired. He has no fucking muscle mass. Unless, like, he is blood, bones, organs, and sinew inside that frame. But even then, that brings up a whole bunch of metaphysical questions that just shouldn't be answered here. Anyway, part of the reason why this is a bit of a Pish mission is that, again, you've got to lead characters through a set pathway. And again, sometimes I can end up getting stuck on the geometry if you're, you know, moving a little bit too quickly for them, because again, being inanimate objects, all they can do is hop. They can't run or anything, or have any degree of, well again, in terms of like actual real-world exploration, it's because their pathfinding is a bit pish. I mean, this is the PlayStation 2. Mind you, so again, complex artificial intelligence isn't exactly a thing it could pull off, but yeah. Basically, sometimes their pathfinding could screw up a little bit, and again, if you try and go too quick for them, or put them behind objects, because this game just darted around crates for no apparent fucking reason. I don't know. Like, it's weird. Like, I mean, you would've thought the Keyblade would've been all that's needed to banish the darkness, but no, you need fucking Mrs. Bertie Bassett to fucking extinguish the flames. And again, like, I mean, as you can see here, Penisworth, just runs out of stamina. Because that's exactly the sort of thing I'd think an inanimate object would need. We complete the minigame as we zoom on Sora's ass. It is the Frenchman's way of saying sacre bleu. And again, like, I mean, that's pretty much all she wrote. I mean, Kingdom Hearts 2 does get a lot of mileage out of them, and I will say that while it does vary from minigame to minigame, some are fun, others are a bit pish. I don't know, like, I mean, it's just a weird way of adding, like, contextual elements to the game, and each world does have something like this, so I really don't know what to think. It's just mixed, to be honest. But I mean, even still, like, I mean, I don't think it detracts from exploration of the worlds in any way, shape, or form. It's just a bizarre way of doing things. I mean, thinking back to Kingdom Hearts 1, I mean, where it was pretty much just going somewhere rather than doing something. I don't know, like, I mean, Kingdom Hearts 1 did have these sorts of optional sections, like, I mean, the Jungle Slider minigame comes to mind, but Kingdom Hearts 2 kind of places a bit more importance on them. And I suppose, while we're off on the commute, I might as well talk about the journal. And part of the reason why the 100% ending for Kingdom Hearts 2, I'd say, is probably one of the most... Well, I guess depending on who you are, either one of the biggest challenges of the game, or one of the biggest pains in the arses, is because in order to complete the journal, in Kingdom Hearts 1, all you had to do was basically just, you know, play some of the additional minigames like, you know, the Jungle Slider, for example, because that's all that's coming to mind at the moment. And again, you know, that's pretty much completing the journal, that's done. Kingdom Hearts 2, on the other hand, requires you to get specific scores, like, for example, the skateboarding minigame. It would require you to get a set amount of points in your threshold before you could technically complete the journal. And again, this also includes, at least from normal mode, you know, having to complete the Gummy Ship missions, having to complete Mushroom 13, Lingering Will, and all the other bonus content in between, basically just maxing out the game to the extreme degree, which can be very strenuous, if not, well, I don't know, just leaving you exhausted at the end of the game when it's all said and done. And again, like, a lot of the content in the game is fun. It is incredibly fun to do. But again, it really depends on how dedicated you are to being a completionist and, you know, how you're willing to max out the entire game. And even on, you know, Proud and Critical mode, again, you still need to complete Mushroom 13, which, again, requires you to get a set amount of score for whenever you tackle them. Again, I'll talk about Mushroom 13 a little bit more specifically later on, but... yeah, there's, I mean, they make you work for that secret ending, and again, as I said in Hollow Bastion, while it is some fucking delicious secret ending goodness, it's, Birth by Sleep, and Birth by Sleep is pish. At least to me, anyway. And again, it's the Kingdom Hearts games I've played. I've heard very mixed things about 358 over 2 days, but I haven't played it. I've only seen the movie, which... I like the story, has its issues, but... anyway. Hopefully that just dispels the notion, oh, simple and clean indicates the good games, and Sanctuary is the bad one. Fuck you. Wow, I am salty today. But anyway... Any other irrelevant news before we finally get to where we need to be going is that we're finally at the point where I've started uploading the commentary to YouTube, so part 1 should be up now. And part 2 should be uploaded tomorrow, so yippee-yo-ki-yay. It also means that I have to actively start keeping up with uploads now at this point, because I mean, I've got all the footage recorded, I have everything I need. It's also just that I just need to keep on top of the parts, but I mean, I've got a fair few stocked away, so again, I should be good for at least 2 or 3 weeks. So, yeah. I mean, I'm just hoping to avoid the schedule slippages of Kingdom Hearts 1, so if I can do that, then I should be golden, dude.
It's time you dealt with Belle. She's scheming to take everything you have. This castle, your precious Rose, and then your life. Trust no one. Feed your anger.
What I'm trying to say here, Beast, is that these hoes ain't loyal.
I've had enough of strength. There's only one thing I want.
What? To love and be loved in return. Who could ever love a beast? See? She has accomplices.
Hey, Prince.
Oh dear, Master!
Oh shit, the Beast is going beast mode. And, yeah, I don't know whether this is meant to be Xaldin's doing, or this is quite literally the Beast's anger manifesting as, I don't know, Xaldin's trying to convert him to darkness, but, Beast, I think you need to chill out. And, yeah, this is a lot easier than I expected. Holy shit, I didn't know Sora could do that. Feed people the power of light.
Cogsworth, what happened?
Well, Master, you see, That is, how shall I say? Actually,
Well, you put everybody down there in that dungeon.
I did what?
you did.
Who was that guy you were talking to? The one in black?
Xaldin. That's his name. He came from the darkness. He used my anger to control me. He took all my sorrow, my sadness, my pain, and turned it all into rage. There was nothing I could do. I could no longer see the truth.
We'll all be. That must be why you threw all of your friends down there into the dungeon. You wanted to make sure that you didn't hurt them, right?
Was that it? Was it to protect them?
Sure. We know you're good inside.
He's right, Master. We've all seen how kind you can be. After all, Belle can see the goodness in your heart, but I'm afraid you've yet to...
Belle. I've mistreated her. I've mistreated her and been so selfish.
She didn't say anything about that.
She'd never tell anyone of my cruelty. She's too good.
You see, I'm afraid he judges himself far too harshly.
Why don't you just go talk to her?
But...
No excuses. Come on, we'll go with you.
You gotta live up to your grief, man. You gotta face against your woman. And yeah, this is pretty much the first time we get a party member. Again, much like Kingdom Hearts 1, we can only have, like, 3 people in the party, so again, one person has to be swapped out, have a little cup of tea. And again, much like Kingdom Hearts 1 as well, I'm pretty much going to be interchanging Donald and Goofy on a party basis. So again, next world we'll pretty much have Goofy in our team, next world we have Donald, vice versa, reversa, and so on and so forth. And again, well, a bit of a difference from Kingdom Hearts 1, at least I think, unless my memory's playing tricks on me, thank Namine. Yeah, this time we actually get limit breaks with our party members. So again, Beast pretty much has the... No, wait, that might be Simba. Oops, bit of a spoiler there, but I don't know. Basically, again, you pretty much get these slash attacks, and again, depending on whether or not you press the attack button or the reaction command button, you can actually get 2 different attacks based on either Sora doing it or Beast participating in the attack. Also, you can swap out your party members from the side menu, which is fun, although kind of amusing since you can basically just teleport people in. I don't know. It's kind of funny to me, but... Anyway, we have Beast's Rose, and a little area here. Something might be important when we see it. Anyway, look at this room, all desecrated, all ugly and desolate. But yeah, as you can imagine, we've got a lot more business to take care of here. I suppose I might as well pad out the time by talking about Xaldin for a little bit. Particularly something, I think I might have brought this up before, but again, in 358 over 2 days, he shows particular interest in Beast and matters of the heart, which... Again, like, I mean, one of the biggest problems with Organization 13, at least for some people, is that some members tend to get a little bit more development than others. And I will admit, right off the bat, 2 of the most neglected members of their organization, I'd say would either be Xaldin or Lexaeus. Lexaeus we only really got a brief look at in Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, but... Yeah, I think Xaldin is also not really developed, because, I mean, the fact that he's also discussing with Beast matters of the heart, you know, DEEZ HOES AIN'T LOYAL, all that kind of stuff. Was he jilted by an ex-lover or something? I mean, the game or the series never really goes into it, and the next time we see him in the Kingdom Hearts universe, he's pretty much... I'm not really sure if I should spoil that, but basically we see him again, and he's kind of never really followed up on, and doesn't even get a speaking role after that, which, again, makes sense for Lexaeus, you know, being the silent, stalwart, taciturn kind of guy, but Dylan? I mean, Xaldin? Yeah, kind of weird that they never really do anything with him again. I mean, and probably never again, actually, since the Xehanort saga is pretty much over with in the franchise at this point, and we're moving on to greener pastures with Quadratum and a hyper-realistic looking Sora. It's a bit of a shame, really, but what can you do? Anyway, to discuss further about the limit breaks, yeah, basically, at the cost of all your MP, you get this powerful super attack. And I mean, again, I do kind of like the way it's handled in Kingdom Hearts more than your typical Final Fantasy, because, like, I mean, I suppose it makes more sense for turn-based games to have, like, your powerful super attacks be, you know, reserved for when you're at minimum health, but I don't know, at the same time, like, I mean, in Kingdom Hearts 2, at the cost of all your MP, it does also showcase that, you know, you'll at least see these attacks more than once in a blue moon. And again, I am gonna try and make it my effort to show off a lot of these limit breaks, you know, throughout the entire parts with all the party members and all that. Because, I mean, even Donald and Goofy themselves both have individual and, of course, Trinity attacks, so yeah, I'll do my best to show it off and just show off the large pool of moves that you can pull off in this game, because, again, Kingdom Hearts 2 gives you a lot to play with, including Valor Form. And again, I'll probably show this off a little bit better, at least in terms of showing off some of the guard breaks, because again, you press the square button, you launch enemies up into the air, and then again, press it again, and you get the guard break attack. Which again is immensely useful, although then again, depending on how good enemies are at blocking, or if they have certain AoE attacks, yeah, it can kind of throw off your groove. Which again is why I mentioned in Holy Bastion, Kingdom Hearts 2 is a game that's easy to play, hard to master. And of course, when you can master the combat system, it looks damn smooth. With a capital, smooth. And again, we also have these pompous Le Frenchy Heartless, which I only really call it because they have lances and look le pompous. And of course, possess statues. And fat asses. Just bopping about with different attacks, but that you've pretty much already seen. So, nothing really new to report. We're pretty much just wasting time at this stage. But alas, why not show you a few more of the limit breaks and show beasts just stomping around, being a bestial guy, and of course just looking at puzzle pieces that we can never get a hold of. Much to my chagrin, because we won't be getting a lot of these until we get some of the abilities that we can get from the drive forms. Again, as I mentioned previously, with the Valor form you get high jump from that, and unfortunately, even if you get up to high jump level 3, you still can't reach it. We're going to be needing glide, which we won't be getting until right at the tail end of the game, sadly. I mean, I suppose maybe you could possibly kind of cheat the AI a little bit and use like the reaction command for the Le Pompous Frenchy Knights, and, you know, use the lance tug to try and like veer your way towards the puzzle piece, but I don't really know if you could get it that way, which kind of sucks. Well, I don't know. Anyway. Time for some trivia, I believe, because we got a lot more violence left to go. Let's see what I could do. I ain't got nothing. Well, speaking of Le Pompous Knights, let's go to some Christopher Lee trivia. Did you know that Christopher Lee is actually a proven descendant of Charlemagne? Like, again, the guy has official documentation and everything. Unlike most people, which I suppose in some cases, given historical frolicking in the fields with the rumpy-pumpy sessions, could also technically be unofficial descendants of Charlemagne to some extent, but Christopher Lee has official documentation, so it's in his family to be noble and have such a booming voice. Stop doing that impression, right? It just proves that Christopher Lee is not a nobody. Young man, tell him your name, for you are Christopher Lee, descendant of Charlemagne, singer of heavy metal. Well, I mean, anyway, I just thought that was a bit interesting. I mean, how many other people can claim to have, like, a large lineage stretching back to one of the more notable times in human history? Not many people, I'd wager. Oh goody, item management, the game. Well, I suppose if nothing else to talk about, I should probably discuss, what I think of Beast Castle as a level up to this point. Again, you're not really going to see the full scope of the level. Well, I mean, you do get pretty much free reign to explore most of it. In fact, it's only really one segment where we fight Xaldin a little bit later on, but I don't know. It's not too bad of a level. I mean, it's expansive in kind of like a PSP game kind of way, where they try and make the rooms a little bit larger to compensate for the small size, to make you think, wow, this game is huge, pushing the hardware to its limits, and all that kind of thing, but I don't know. Beast Castle has a nice atmosphere. I think the story, even though heavily abridging Beauty and the Beast, is at least touching in the way that the original movie was, and I don't know, I find it enjoyable, and plus the music has kind of like that ballroom dance kind of vibe that kind of reminds me of the battle theme for Neverland from Kingdom Hearts 1. So again, I think it's a reasonably enjoyable level, and should probably see the movie again one of these days. I mean, it's been ages since I've seen it, so I could probably remember more details about it that I didn't remember before from my wee childhood. By the way, to talk about the statues, actually, again, you saw the ebbs of darkness floating out of them. Again, much similar to the door guards that we fought in the previous part. Yeah, you can actually use them. You know, but I think it's if you block their attacks, you can pretty much exercise their demons, so to speak, and basically kill them with a reaction command. I quite enjoy it, actually. It's fun. Come on, stop playing around. I know you like to have fun, but this is no time for games.
I'm warning you. You'll be sorry.
Belle, where are you?
Please, help! I'm in the ballroom.
Belle!
I'm all right.
Wow!
The ballroom, it is covered in the darkness. Why am I so focused on the fucking French this part? But anyway, this is basically a dark ball wrapped in chains. I know it has an official name, but I can't be asked. And again, this is pretty much going to give you an example of the scope of the boss fights in this game against the Heartless. A lot more Heartless bosses in this game than I remember, actually. I seem to remember a lot of them being Organization 13, but yeah, playing through Kingdom Hearts 2 again, there's a lot more Heartless bosses to go around. Again, it does involve a lot of gratuitous uses of the reaction command, and well, not to kind of, like, pish on the boss, like, this early on, but I kind of wish Kingdom Hearts 2 had Kingdom Hearts 3's, like, traversal mechanics, like the S-step and the flow motion kind of stuff, because given the size of the ballroom here, well, you can't really get around quickly, and you might be thinking that anti-form could be useful here, but unfortunately, no, because one of the drawbacks of anti-form is that, again, you can't use reaction commands. And again, when you're in a boss fight situation, you can't revert back to normal Sora, so, yeah, we're kind of playing the waiting game. I mean, again, anti-form is pretty freaking sweet, if a bit of a drawback, depending on what you want to do. So, yeah, you're kind of playing the waiting game, and again, can't pick up health orbs or anything else, so, anti-form is a play at your own risk kind of thing. But again, this boss is also, two-phase boss fight. Kind of unusual for Heartless bosses, although a bit more annoying for this one, since again you need the reaction command, and if you can't do anything, then it'll pretty much take advantage and pish around, really. Like, I mean, I will say that anti-form usually does... Well, I mean, normally it can do a decent job of homing in your enemies, but... yeah, sometimes it just likes to fuck with yous. But anyway, now that we've pretty much gotten everything down, we can finally use the reaction command. Oh, that wasn't the one I was thinking of. I mean, looking back, I probably could have gotten a better take of this boss fight. I mean, again, not switching to anti-form for one thing. But yeah, at this point in the game, you don't really have a lot of options to reach it easily, which again is why I don't think Blizzard and Fire are really decent spells for this point in the game. I mean, your Ice Shotgun is pretty much okay for what it's worth, but at the same time though, yeah, I think the only reliable spell you could use is Lightning, and we ain't got any of that stuff. So, now we should be done. Except not, because now it is time for Phase 2 of Episode 3. And now it evolves into its ultimate form. Which, honestly, I swear to God was the secret boss... Well, either it was a recolor, or it is meant to be this thing from, the secret episode of Birth by Sleep, because that was a very similar boss fight that you fought in the Realm of Darkness as Aqua if you unlock the secret episode. And yeah, it also has a few of the stealth sneak techniques. Doesn't have the invincible thing, but it does move around a lot and can be a bit pish to hit. So really, I mean, you can still lock onto it, thankfully, so I mean, really, the most difficult part of this boss fight is just trying to get to it, which again is why I sincerely wish we had flow motion, or, you know, the air step thing, or even the fucking shot lock actually would have been fucking useful. Of course, it does like to juggle you around like you're some fucking Devil May Cry jump cancelling kind of fucking shit, but I don't know. Some of the reaction commands are also pretty worth it to look sweet and just make you go wee. But again, it's pretty tenacious. And again, I think, well, I mean, again, I probably would have gotten a better take of this boss fight, but again, I wanted to make sure I ended it on a reaction command. A policy that I would soon abandon for how long it took. I mean, this part's already 32 minutes as is, so Jesus Christ, but I don't know. It's, again, the reaction commands, I think, you might call them shallow, but again, they are sweet to look at, and I don't know, give the boss fight a little cinematic edge that I can't help but love, man. Though again, a lot of its attacks are also quite similar to, well, again, its previous Dark Ball phase, so I really don't know what to say. I mean, I will say that, I mean, in terms of like my overall Kingdom Hearts 2 experience, I did block a lot more than I usually do in Kingdom Hearts games, so yeah, I don't know, I got a lot more use out of playing defensively. Fittingly, since I'm playing with the shield that gives you better defense. Though then again, like, the thing on this playthrough specifically, I also really noticed, like, how much extra damage the, picking the sword usually gives you comparatively to, you know, Power of the Guardian, so I don't know, I guess it does pay to play Kingdom Hearts 2, in your own way. And I mean, I guess also to kind of correct something that I had mentioned in, Twilight Town when we were picking the, you know, between magic and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, while magic doesn't really have much of an effect if you're playing as Roxas, it does if you're playing as, Sora, and in some cases it can be useful, but I think I'll get to some of the abilities at a later date. Because for now, the Heartless is finished. Fare thee well, what I'm gonna assume is gonna be Beast's Heartless. Befitting of the world, monstrous aberration of darkness. Anyway, I'll let you watch the cutscene and I'll take a drink of the Pepsi.
We did it!
So you think.
Xaldin!
Farewell.
What does he want here?
He must be with Organization 13. Ever heard of the Nobodies? When a strong-hearted person turns into a Heartless, a Nobody is created too. See, the organization, they've got control of all the Nobodies.
That's right! And they were gonna make you into a Heartless. That way they could get that nobody of yours and have control over it.
You're all right.
Belle! Belle, I'm sorry, I wasn't myself. I hope I haven't done anything to hurt you. Forgive me.
I know you weren't yourself. You don't have to apologize. But I had hoped that you might have changed a little bit. I wish you could start trusting me.
Oh, I am afraid time is running short.
What do you mean?
Remember the rose?
From the beast's room?
Precisely. You see, if the master can learn to love and earn love in return before the last petal falls,
The spell will be broken.
Really? You think he's gonna make it?
We think so.
Yup, I think you're right.
I hope you're right.
Do you have to go?
Yeah.
Now, no more arguing, okay?
We'll see to it.
Take care, dears.
You are welcome here any time.
If you hear anything about Riku, or the King, the Heartless, the organization, anything at all, let us know. Okay, gotta go.
Well, that was fun, and for the Spoilers of War we get the Cure element. Yippee. So on that note, I am Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and next time in the Kingdom Hearts 2 playthrough, we are going to the Land of Dragons.